All right. So in our culture, most people are familiar with several doctors that may not be doctors. For instance, Dr. Dre, Dr. J, or my favorite, Dr. Pepper. But this special guest that I have today is a real doctor who's been making a difference in animal lives and has been rocking the airwaves with his lifelong friend, Dr. Bernard Hodges. So bringing about success with his show, Critter Fixer Country Vets on Nat Geo Wild and Disney Plus, I would like to welcome Dr. Ferguson.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Definitely. And is there anything that I should add to your intro?
Oh, no, man, that sounds great, man. Hey, I'm flattered.
Well, it's definitely an honor. So, wow is all that I can say. I grew up watching Nat Geo as a kid. I'm an 88s baby and everything. And, growing up during those times, I really didn't see people that looked like us. So, this interview is extra special for me. And, for the audience that is watching, can you give a brief insight on, what got you interested in becoming a veterinarian and, the schooling and training that went into it to get to where you are now?
So I consider my journey kind of being traditional. I wanted to be a veterinarian since I was 7 or 8 years old. And basically what happened is we had a dog that was hit by a car. And, when you're small, I said, I got to make this baby better, but all I know was alcohol and a little paper towel, right? So I take alcohol, paper towel, a little peroxide, and I doctor it. I kind of work on this dog and it gets better. And it kind of just lit a fire in me that, hey, you know what? I want to be an animal doctor. And then I went and told my mom, I want to be an animal doctor. And she was like, baby, it's called a veterinarian. So my mother, being an educator, she made me at this very young age learn how to spell this long word. So she would take, like, I know a lot of the young people don't know what construction paper is, but she would trace those letters out. I had to put them in, arrange them in order. So it was almost at an early age, I almost decided I don't want to be a veterinarian because that was a big word. But, my parents encouraged me. And after high school, I attended Fort Valley State University. And my major was veterinary science. And that's where I met Dr. Hodges. He and I both went to Fort Valley State University, Fort Valley State College at that time. And, I always wanted to be a veterinarian. And only 2% of veterinarians are Black. Okay. So I grew up, I had never seen a Black veterinarian. It wasn't until I was a junior at Fort Valley State College that I saw my first Black veterinarian. And there were times that I became discouraged because I wanted to do something, but I didn't see anyone that looked like me that was doing it. And I almost changed my career path until I met one of my mentors, Dr. Corker, who was also the first Black veterinarian that I met. And he encouraged me to continue and pursue the field of veterinary medicine. And then I attended Tuskegee School of Veterinary Medicine. So let me turn Hodges' phone off. That's where I went to school and was blessed to stay on track. It's not a lot of time you dream something when you're 7 or 8 years old and you actually get to live it or achieve it. So it was definitely a blessing. And Dr. Hodges and I, we started out this journey, 22 years ago. And here we are still going today.
Wow. So look, I was basically 10 when you guys started. Man, that's awesome. And so, for me, just hearing that story, one, it's definitely important, for our youth and things like that to understand, whatever you want to be, you can be it if you work hard to and you dedicate the time and all these different things to it. And the fact that, you stuck with it, you faced the adversity that was in it, being, the minority in this type of industry and still pushing forward is definitely something commendable.
Oh, no doubt. Yes, sir. It's just, it's been a blessing and it's been a journey as well. Dr. Hodges and I, we don't take lightly the influence that we have on the youth today, and we try to make it positive as we can.
Yes. And let me ask you this, because, you definitely mentioned, Fort Valley State and, with it being an HBCU, what was that like, the type of, education that you got from that, the experience that you got with that as well? Because, I want to, also put that in play to, the kids of our future as well, as that you don't have to go to Harvard. You don't have to go to all these different schools when, we have these HBCUs that are here for us. Right. So can you speak on that?
I chose Fort Valley State University. So leaving high school, I played football in high school. So I was going to be on a football scholarship. And it actually came down to Albany, Fort Valley, Tuskegee, where I wanted to go. And I chose Fort Valley. I had relatives that were there, and I was a little more familiar with Fort Valley. But the school itself, you know, there sometimes we may need a little more nurturing.
Yeah.
Or even if we don't need it, it's still beneficial. So what Fort Valley provided was more of a small hometown feel, because I'm from Tarleton, Georgia. Very small. We only have 2 traffic lights and a caution light. My graduating class was roughly 60, 80 kids. That's not a lot. So, you know, you can go to some of the larger schools and you kind of get lost. You know, I knew what I wanted to do. Fort Valley had the program that I wanted. My brother had attended Fort Valley State. So I was very familiar with the nurturing and the individualness that you get there. You're not just a number, but you're someone who's going to be taught to do whatever your profession is, how to be a young man or young lady, how to succeed in the environment that we're in. And that's what I wanted. You know, I wanted that. So that's why I chose Fort Valley. And that's why I would tell any kid, HBCUs, they're just a certain flavor that you can't get anywhere else.
Yes. I love it. And, you know, I like the fact that you mentioned, you know, where you from and everything, because, you know, myself, I'm from a small town, you know, originally born in Marianna, Florida. And, you know, I went to school in Cottonelle, Florida, and it was like sort of like how you said. So, you know, our mall was Walmart. So, you know, that lets you know.
We had a Walmart. You know, I had a grocery store and had to go 30 minutes to find even a Walmart. So
Yeah. But see, being from a small town and then, you know, achieving the level of success that you are as well, you know, is definitely something, you know, for our youth to look up to, because, I played football as well. And I went to school for track scholarships, and that was my outlet to get out from that area. And so, it's important, you know, from that aspect for kids to see that, you know, what you're doing, you can start somewhere and then, you know, end up in a totally different space. You know what I mean? And so the fact that, you know, you went from this and now you're on TV for millions of people to see is definitely something big.
Yeah, man. It's like, you know, going to the first point you said, I know it's cliche, but I literally mean if I did it, you can do it. And I know it's cliche, everybody say it, but I am here to say inside of me, listen to what I'm saying. If I did it, you can do it. There's nothing special or miraculous about what I did or done except stay the path.
Yes.
So Dr. Hodge and I, we opened in 1999. It was just he and I, and we modest beginnings. We started out in a building that was roughly 800 square foot. It was like 20 by 40. I mean, small building. And, you know, he and I decided, well, you know, we want to open our own business. And we opened Critter Fixer, and we actually, when we say sweat equity, we mean sweat equity. We put the walls up, we built exam rooms. And I always joke that when we opened up, you know, I was his overly qualified receptionist, overqualified dog walker, overqualified, you know, dog bather, technician, and he was my overqualified, because it was just he and I. You know, you got a doctor that's watching dogs, but we had to do what we had to do. And it grew. You know, we actually opened our second location the same year, which is in Bon Air. So, you know, we worked for 20 years, and, you know, we think we're on the backside of this thing and we're getting ready to ease out. We hired more doctors and we're just going to ease back, and here comes a DM, you know, like, you know, you guys have thought about having a television show. So initially it went to Dr. Hodges, and he did what you always would do when stuff comes in your inbox like that. You ignore it. Oh, yeah. So he ignored it. You know, he came again, he did. So then they actually called. And what it was a production company in New York called Hit and Run Media, right?
Yes.
So they said the same thing. You guys want to have a show. So we was like, I don't know, you know. So what they did is we had to do a Skype, which we didn't even know what that was at the time.
Yeah.
Then after that, they wanted to hear our voices and what we sound like. And then from there, it went to they came down for 1 week and they shot what they call a sizzle reel, which is kind of hit a little bit of everything. And they took that and pitched it to the network with National Geographic to see if they wanted to pick it up for a television show. And when they did it, they told us, most of the time, this is far to go, but let's try and see what happens, because they had to start on the bottom floor in the GS and they had to keep on going to the top floor. So it was probably 3 months later, and Hodge and I, we didn't even think about it anymore, because even with the camera crews there for 1 week, who could say they had a camera crew follow them for the week? So that was in itself was awesome, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so I remember the day they called us and they told us to get together and call them back at a certain time. And you know how you're on the phone and you can tell that they're on speakerphone, and you could almost envision they're at this long table and the phone is in the middle of the table, and they were like, you guys, you have a TV show. Yes. And Hodge and I were quiet. We didn't say anything. In like 15, 20 seconds, they said, now, you guys can be happy. You can be happy. And we was like, we are happy. We just don't know we didn't think really is going to happen. Like, where do we go from here? What do we do? We have this, leave that to us. You guys be yourself, and we'll make it work. And, we shot their first season. Initially it was different because you got cameras, you got, you're just doing interview things, and it slows the process down a little bit because you have to work it through so it's visual for television. And but yeah, it's all good, man. So now we're filming season 3, and season 2 is showing right now. So it's going well. And, I always, reflect, not to get too religious, I guess, but growing up, even without the show, Dr. Hodge and I have been blessed. Yes. We have 2 successful veterinary clinics. Yes. And, always, when most people, when they're praying or they're talking to God, they're always like, why me, in a bad way? Yeah. But I always ask, why me in a good way? Like, why are you blessing me with these things? I'm still this little boy from Tarleton, and, I work hard and I try to do this. And I came to figure out it really is not for me or about. It's about those kids out there. It's about whoever the parents are. And it's the fact that even if they don't get to meet me, even before the show, you can ride by Critifix and say, that's Dr. Ferguson, that's Dr. Hodges. They're 2 Black professional, African-American young men. And that was good in itself. And I was happy with that. But you know what? Sometimes God says, I got a bigger platform for you. Yep. So Nat Geo a while, and now the platform is bigger, so we get to express and show that all around the world. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Yes. And you know what, I really like that you touched upon that, because, I look at it like this too. I wouldn't be where I am in life if it wasn't for, what God had planned for me. And so, 9 times out of 10, we as people, sometimes we get to where we think like, oh, well, if I want to do this, I can do this. But hey, like you said, God have another plan for you. And so, it's, what he says is going to automatically, it's going to be. Yes. So let me ask you this, this for like people who are interested in the business and different things like that. So, in terms of building your business, running your business, filming, opening another business, and then spending time with family, and how do you manage all that?
For one is here, we have to have good people. Yeah. And we've been blessed there too. We have employees who've been with us, some since we opened the door. Wow. Others who've been with us 10 years and 8 years. And that's been a blessing in itself. We have people with longevity, and we know that they understand what we're trying to achieve and what we're trying to perceive, that people see Critifixer, they see love. They see, someone that loves their pet like they do, who knows that they're members of the family, and who's going to do whatever we can for them. So as far as that concerned, we definitely have to have good people. The next is tough, because my hand is up a lot of things. I'm dealing with Critifixer, then we're filming, and then I train kids for football. Then I restore old cars, and then still have a family. So all these things are going on, and you really just have to try to do your best to prioritize. The one thing I do remember, there's an older gentleman that told me, what did he say? basically there's only one of you. All you can do is all you can do.
I love it.
You can't do any more than that. So all you can do is all you can do. So you can beat your head up and be like, I want to get a 50,000 thing, but if you can only do 10, you do those 10, then we do the next 10. So
yes.
It's a priority thing that I have to put in order priority, but it gets time that, you know, I'm kind of spinning and, okay, what do I do? What's the most important? What do I do now? But you know what? That's who I am.
Yeah.
So I enjoy doing that. You know, some people that, you know, they don't want as many tasks and responsibilities, but, you know, I'm telling my wife, I don't know if there's ever a time that I can't or shouldn't be doing something. Now, I may take time not to, you know, it's kind of go on vacation, you know, with the family, but there's still something that I probably should be doing or could be doing then. But I'm okay with that because I like staying busy in mind and physically.
Yes, I love that. And this is a little personal question for me. So what car are you working on now? Let me know what you're working with.
So I have, I'm doing a 69 Camaro for someone. Now, it's in that stage. So I have a 70 Chevelle, which was the first car I had. So now I took it back apart. I'm taking the big block out, putting the LS in, putting air conditioning in, putting the digital dash in, putting power windows in.
Yes.
So finishing up like a 56 pickup truck that's a rat rod that has a newer electronic motor in, power steering, air conditioning, but the outside looks old. So I don't know. I love the cars, man. So that's
nice.
People say that kind of my when I want to be alone, you know, I go in the garage, turn the music on, and I just dive into the cars, you know, and that's my kind of getaway thing.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I used to have an old Ford Elite when I was back in Warner Robins, and I used to ride it all the time, and then I ended up getting hit in Fort Valley.
Those drivers now, you gotta watch them.
Yes. So you know what? It's been a pleasure, just chatting with you. I know you're busy, but is there any tips that you can give to the kids or individuals that may be interested in, becoming a veterinarian or anything?
Sure. I mean, as far as veterinary medicine is concerned, there's probably not a day go by that we don't have kids that are here that want to be veterinarians, say what's going on. There's not a day that go by that maybe a parent call and say, my kid wants to be a veterinarian. What do we do? The first thing that I say is find a veterinarian that you can shadow, okay? Because we need you to get on the inside. And the reason is sometimes things look glorious from the outside, but when you come in, the dogs pee on you, the cats pee on you, they scratch you, so I like to make sure that that's something that you still want to do before you invest a whole lot of time in. So find that mentor, someone who's willing, and we're out there, veterinarians out there, and they're willing to share and they want to, because the profession we're in, we love this profession. And it's definitely something that we want to pour into so that it can continue and thrive and be strong. And Dr. Hodges, one thing we definitely want to do is try to increase that 2% number. So we really work hard at doing that. And we have just to throw it at the end, we have because of all the people that are called and come by, we were trying to figure out what can we do to make that number a little bigger and really show them what goes on. So this weekend is our first program. It's called Vet for a Day. And what we did is we have about 40 kids. Now we put this out online and we had 200 applicants that sent in and we had to narrow it down. But what we're doing is starts that morning at Fort Valley State University. We have kids that are coming in that are either in veterinary school, just graduated from college, applying to veterinary school, who just became veterinarians, to talk to these kids about the different levels of even getting in. Then Dr. Hodges and myself will speak. From there, we will go to the vet science department on campus and do a tour, and we'll see all the facilities they have. And from there, we will come to Critter Fixer. And we have stations here where they'll rotate through surgery, ultrasound, x-rays, how to restrain animals, how to bathe animals, what goes on in the reception area up front. So they'll get a view of the whole thing. And we have companies that partners with us. So these kids will get backpack, stethoscopes, T-shirts, bottles. They get all these things. And what we're trying to do, this is our first one, We're going to try to work this thing out and work the bugs out. And we hope that it's something that we can put out there naturally, and veterinarians will do it, and it can really, inspire the next generation.
I love that.
Yeah. So, I mean, most of the kids that want to be veterinarians, they already have that love, right?
Yeah.
So keep that love, keep that passion, and always just press forward. Every day is not going to be the best day. Every day is not going to be how you wrote it down in your book and you wanted it to be, but you have to persevere. So if you can be consistent and persistent, it'll all work out.
I absolutely love that. I'm gonna write that on my sticky note too, because I feel like that is something that's universal to anything that you put forth in and that you love as well. And it's been an honor interviewing you and just showcasing your success. I really appreciate you for having me, Doctor.
I'm glad you have it, man. Anything that else you need from Critifix or anything, you know where we are. Give us a holler, and we're definitely here for you.
Yes, sir. I will do that.
What's going on, guys? This is Sir Clarence with Ultra Black News, where we aim to highlight all things good in the Black community. So if you're new to our channel, make sure that you hit that like button, make sure that you subscribe, and then make sure that you share this with friends and family members. Make sure to tag them in the post as well if this is great content that you enjoy and that you believe that they will enjoy as well.